Hey, let's welcome in Roberto Mercado, one of the newest staff members for the Baltimore Orioles, hired recently, and he is headed to beautiful Ripken Stadium in Aberdeen this summer to manage the high single-A Aberdeen IronBirds. And Roberto, it's been nice to meet you and talk to you a little bit, get to know you. And you've got a very interesting baseball background. You have been a high school coach in Connecticut for many years. You worked in the Cape Cod League. You also worked as a head coach of the Goodwill Series, the USA team from 2017 to 21 in international competition. You were in New Zealand and Australia. So a lot going on here. But tell me about the last few weeks or so since you joined the Orioles. What's it been like for you?
It's been outstanding. I've been fortunate enough to go to the mini camp in January, late January, for a week and get to know the coaches there, and a couple of the managers that were there. Kyle Moore was there, as well as Buck Britton, and the great staff there, and get to know about 17 players there. So kind of getting my feet wet, kind of getting used to how everything goes, and just getting to know the players little by little. But it's been great. Everybody's been outstanding, family type atmosphere. Any questions I asked, everybody was, willing to answer. Any phone calls I need to make, they're right on it. So it's been a pleasure to start already.
Pretty awesome. You had a good welcoming committee, so to speak, there, huh?
Definitely.
So when you talk to Buck and Kyle about managing in pro ball, what are some of the things they told you?
Honestly, just be ready for any situation. Just be prepared as you can, but also, once you get in there, you kind of get more of a feel of how things go. Especially with Kyle Moore over at Aberdeen. He was there last year, so I've reached out to him a ton over the past month and a half, and he's been great. Just telling me how the weather is over there and the heat on the turf field, and preparing for that, and how he managed those situations, and just going on the road and early work and things like that. So they've been great just to talk to and kind of get a feel for how the day-to-day process is.
When the Orioles hired you and you went through the interview process, obviously you told them a lot about your background, and I'm sure they told you a little bit about expectations and hopes and what they think and want you to bring to the table this year. What are some of the things you heard from the Orioles about?
Biggest thing was, create a positive learning environment, get guys prepared, and, we want to be their biggest supporter, but be the player's biggest critic as well, and I think pushing those guys to the limit and getting them get the most out of every single player is what a manager or coach wants. So that was the biggest thing, is to create, great learning environments where guys can fail and it's okay, and just grow from it and not continue doing that. At the end of the day in minor league baseball, we want guys to continue to move up. That's our end goal. And it's not necessarily about if we win or lose, but I think there's a balance. I think it's important for guys to learn how to win, but also putting them in positions that may be uncomfortable. If maybe we're facing a tough lefty that day, and, we got three lefties that, the analytics say they should sit. Now we're going to put those guys in there. We want to get them ready from Aberdeen to go up to Kyle Moore and be prepared against those lefties, and up to Britton, and ultimately, obviously, to the Orioles with Hyde. So at the end of the day, that's what it's about. So I'm excited for the opportunity, and I'm ready to go. And like I said, the Orioles have been great. From Matt Blood to Jeff Kunkel, Tim DeJean's been great, Matt Packer, all these guys have been awesome. And the staff they put together in Aberdeen, I'm excited. I've gotten to know them a little bit, through Zoom calls. I met a couple of them down at the mini camp. So we got a great staff that's going to work together and ultimately do what's best for every single player in the organization.
It is interesting in the minor leagues. I've covered it for so long that I'm pretty well versed in it, but fans who are casual fans of the minors may not realize it's not exactly like in the majors. In the majors, it's all about winning. I mean, everything is geared to the ending with more runs that night. And not that it isn't in the minors. You're playing to win, for crying out loud, but you're also playing for player development. It's a unique situation. You're managing a player today to get him off your team to a higher level. And obviously that doesn't happen in the major league. So there's some uniqueness, I guess, that you're going to experience firsthand this year.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, in high school baseball, you put your best lineup up, right? You do that. In the Cape, we put our best lineup up. Our head coach would always ask us, hey, what do you got for a lineup today? And then we look at the numbers and hey, we're facing a tough lefty. We may have to sit this guy out. This guy has better numbers and things like that, where, like I said earlier, we want to get these guys feeling a little, not necessarily uncomfortable, put them in those positions to be prepared for that as they move up. So I think, you know, at the end of the day, like you said, I mean, we're all out there. We want to win. I think that's the mentality that needs to happen. Anytime you're not out there competing to win, then what are we doing? You know, we want to go out there and win. We got great fans there that are there to support the organization, and we want to put a good product on the field and want to make sure our guys are giving that effort. And I think I know we're gonna do that. Those are the expectations, and that's going to be in Aberdeen for sure.
So Roberto, you managed New Britain High School from 2011 through 2021. You were also the Dean of Students there since 2004. And here's where I think that experience will help you. And you give me your thoughts. I mean, you're managing and you're the head coach for kids 16 to 18. And obviously they'll be a little older in Aberdeen, but not by that much. So, I mean, to me, you've got a little bit of a background there of what kids in that age group and bracket, how they think about the game now, how they approach the game. I'm sure it's very different than when I was 16 to 18 many years ago, decades ago. And so you think that will serve you well this summer?
I think it will. Just, you know, getting to know different personalities as Dean of Students. I mean, we have a pretty big school, 2,400 kids, and, you know, a lot of kids with different backgrounds and different, you know, ways of life, and trying to get them on the right path. So I think those conversations with those players and students definitely going to prepare me for this, and continue to help the player grow, create a plan for each guy, and come up with something and work collaboratively to make sure that we're doing what's best for every single player. You know, there's a lot of students that struggle, and, you know, we got to try to find a way to get them on the right path, and have to deal with adversity and deal with those kind of things. And it's similar to baseball. You know, guys are going to struggle at times, and that's expected, right? And we want to make sure they have the right mindset to be prepared to overcome those things, and to continue to grow as a player and as a person. You know, and I think building those relationships and building that trust with guys, where, you know, guys can be vulnerable and say, it's okay to make a mistake here. Let's figure out a plan to get you better, and see what we can do to get you up to Kyle Moore over in AA. So yeah, I'm excited. And I think all those experiences from the high school, Dean of Students, and as well, obviously, being in the Cape has been instrumental in my development.
How will that Cape Cod League experience help you now, and how much confidence does it give you in dealing with, they were not pro players yet, but most of them go on to be pro players, which you will now be dealing with. I mean, back in the day when Aberdeen was short season, they would get a player who the summer before maybe had torn it up in the Cape. Then he became a high draft pick or a draft pick, and boom, he's in Aberdeen. And so, you know, that must give you a little bit of confidence, not that you have managed pro players yet, but you've managed players who now are pro players, I guess is what I'm saying. That caliber of player, you got some experience with.
Yeah, you know, I've been blessed and was fortunate enough to have an opportunity to coach there since 2014. And our head coach, Scott Pickler, has been absolutely amazing to me, and given me opportunities to continue to grow. And obviously the great assistant coaches that have been around, whether they're in pro ball right now and they're in the show, or they're in the minor leagues, or they're head coaches, or they're coaching at the collegiate level. So been blessed, and obviously the great players that have come through. And again, I think the first thing is building that trust with guys and creating those relationships. And that's the biggest thing that I cherish the most from the Cape is, you know, still keep in contact with so many guys and just check in on them, see how they're doing. You know, they hit me up. They a ton of congratulations from guys like, hey, Berto, congratulations on the new job. We're happy for you, man. Couldn't go to a better guy. So, you know, I think that's awesome, outstanding. And then the baseball wise is, you know, it's a different level, right? These guys are elite performers. They're playing against the best of the best. And, you know, again, coming up with different plans for guys to help them continue to grow and ultimately be drafted. So, yeah, the Cape is outstanding. I'm going to miss it. I mean, I love my opportunity now. And, you know, it's funny. I was looking through rosters from our organization as well as other teams, and there's going to be a lot of familiar faces I'm going to see across the diamond. So looking forward to that as well.
You were part of some championship teams in the Cape Cod League.
Yeah, we won in 2014, 15, and 16. We had some success there. You know, Coach Pick did a great job selecting some players, and, you know, to get guys to mesh in 2.5 months. That's kind of our job as assistant coaches as well, is finding a way to, in a short amount of time, to get these guys ready to compete. And obviously they want to perform for the scouts, but ultimately win for the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox and the community over there. So think that kind of translates well with professional baseball, right? I think, you know, guys may be here for a month and hopefully they're there for a short period of time and they're moving up, and, you know, try to create that positive environment where they're going to continue to grow and learn and have some fun too. I mean, ultimately we want guys to be there and have fun and, you know, express themselves and, you know, represent the Orioles organization in a positive way and get them ready to go. So yeah, definitely the Cape has been absolutely amazing.
Well, Roberto, fun to talk to you today. You can see the enthusiasm you're going to bring to this gig. It comes through. You look good there in orange and black already. So that's a positive, and really appreciate the time you took today. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Take care.